Everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. Week 10 recap is officially here. Great week of games that we'll get into, but first and foremost, we had a huge loss in the NFL this week. Thursday morning, it was announced that Cowboys uh, linebacker, if I'm not
Defensive end.
mistaken, defensive end
Defensive end.
Marshawn
Second
Newland,
year defensive end.
second year, of course. He just had a phenomenal play in that Monday nighter just 4 days before this happening, lost his life tragically. Um, Details, doesn't even matter. In the end of the day, a young man lost his life. Christian, he's a player from your team. You follow him closely, so I'll let you maybe say a couple words.
Yeah, it definitely, well, yeah, Wednesday night confirmed Thursday morning. It definitely wasn't something I expected to wake up in the morning, especially before school. And, obviously we don't talk a lot about, mental health on this channel, but I think it's gonna get to a point where, we're gonna have to start speaking about this because I mean, seeing that 2001 on every graphic hits home for us specifically because he's not that older than us. He was 4 years older than us. I mean, 2001 compared to 2005, and it just sucks to we just Kyron Lacy recently too. He lost his life to himself. Marshawn Neiland did as well. So it's it's definitely something in the league that needs to draw concern for because these young men are losing their lives. And it really sucks to see. And obviously, with a guy on the team like Dak Prescott, obviously that hit him more. Him losing his mother during quarantine 2002, him losing his brother too, to suicide as well. So it obviously hits him more deep in the heart and not being able to speak up about it because a lot of these players they don't speak up, they love keeping them quiet. And it's just a common occurrence with men specifically. Men do have, with recent studies, they are the highest rate of suicide. And, we would obviously, I wouldn't say we shouldn't talk about it on this channel because we don't want to keep it too, on the negative note, but it is something that really does need to be spoken out for. A young man did lose his life and it is tragic. And, it was great to see that all these teams around paid tribute and respect to Neyland. And it's really nice to see because at the end of the day, it is more than football. And a young man did lose his life because of this. And it just really sucks to see. And at some point, there's gonna be need to be changes made, with everything, more talks about this for the mental health of young men.
Yeah, of course, the ingrained thought of masculinity, just ingrained to us at a young age. It makes you think, you're not as manly if if you end up speaking out. But like you said, it's a term and a mentality that we have to strive to change. And hopefully, hopefully no one else, we at least limit the amount of loss of life that has to continue. But of course, prayers go out to Nealon and to everyone close to him. But yeah, it's tough to see, but just move forward and just hope everyone close to him, is able to push through from now on. But move on into, let's get started. That same day got into our Thursday night action, and not the greatest way to kick off our slate of football. This look, what do we say? We were taken right back to prime 2022 Thursday night with the Broncos and the Raiders. And I'll just get into the Raiders first real quick. Arguably their best performance of the season. You win the turnover battle 2-1. You hold the Broncos to 10 points. I believe they held them like 3-3 to start this game, and you still lose. At the end of the day, it was a great defensive performance, but the offense remains rancid. It's just horrible. Brock Bowers, after a generational game the week prior, just lays out an absolute dud, does nothing specific for me in fantasy. I need a little more there. Of course, Gino, same thing. Nothing going on from his end. Just not what you needed. But then again, as for the Broncos, not much better, really. You get the win, sure, but these last couple of weeks, this Broncos offense has been horribly stagnant. You have a great defense, even without Pat Surtain still down from that injury. But you look at it, apart from that Cowboys game and the fourth quarter comeback against the Giants, this offense has just been borderline terrible. Like I say, they're lucky that they've been able to run into inferior opponents like the Texans and now the Raiders. But this offense just has to wake it up because they're gonna have to start keeping up with this dominant defense. And that defense is only going to take them so far, as eventually they're going to get tired out with the offense giving them too much work to do.
Yeah, I'm starting to see flashes in like resemblance to the 2020 Steelers. We saw how happened there, 11 and 0, had a huge collapse, and they really weren't a good 11 and 0 team. Only difference with this is, the Broncos just had two losses early on, But like you said there, the Broncos are going to want to compete because this AFC is going to start to heat up very soon. December's right around the corner, and December football, a lot of implications go down there too. So that offense is going to have to wake up. Bo Nix cannot be having these inconsistencies. You won't be playing the Cowboys defense every single week to be putting up numbers like that, right? The AFC, it's stacked. It's looking a little more stacked as the weeks go on. So they're going to need to improve. But moving on with the Sunday slate and get ready because this is the only good game I'm covering, the Falcons and the Colts. Now, both these teams, the Falcons, this is a team that they were going to need to step up and look a lot better. The Colts, one team where they're going to need to look good against these better teams, and an inferior opponent like the Falcons. It ended up being a closer game, right? But give credit where it's due. The Falcons' defense has been on the rise, and they've been the brighter spots on this team there too. But it was a really close game. But on the side note, Penix, he was looking great. 177 yards, a touchdown, and but the big issue with that was there too at the second half. Only 78 yards, only completing 5 passes for his 18 attempts, including overtime. So their offense was not waking up at all whatsoever to compare with these Colts team. You're looking at Drake London. Yes, he had himself a game, right? 104 yards and 1 touchdowns. But Sauce, he's already making a standout improvement on that defense. Line up against London, he only allowed 2 catches on 4 attempts, 26 yards on 17 matchups against Sauce Gardner. So it was a very great matchup there too. But we see Sauce now on that great defense, he's making a big stand. On the Colts side, Danny Dimes had a great game. But that O-line is kind of where it was kind of slowing him down. I mean, he's blitzed on 46.2% of his dropbacks for the first time since week 2, and he was sacked 5 times. Sacked 5 times, allowing the pressure, and still managing to be able to get the win shows a lot about this offense. Who is the bright spot on this offense? I mean, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns, career high in scrimmage yards with 286 yards and 3 touchdowns. Everything else, the offense was clicking. That defense, sure, maybe it wasn't able to stop that offense, but you want to get going. This Colts offense, Jonathan Taylor gets going. It's gonna be scary for this Colts team. They just need to put up they just need to put these numbers against these better teams in the AFC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, let's also remember this Falcons defense is,
Yeah.
a lot better than what this team entails. But I
hmm
mean, you also do just consider. I mean, Sauce Gardner coming back. You probably would expect a little better from
Yeah.
him. But he's gonna get acclimated. It's a whole
Yeah.
trip to Germany. Say what you like. I mean, I expected a lot better from this Colts team, but they got it
Yeah,
done
but with
against a great
the numbers
defense.
Danny Dimes and JT were to drop on this
Yeah,
defense,
specifically
that shows a lot. That does
specifically
show a
JT
lot.
a generational game. And you know what? I'm
Yeah,
surprised we didn't really get into, but he's in that MVP conversation. I know everyone's talking about,
he
oh,
is.
offensive player of the year, offensive player of the year. He's in that MVP conversation.
He's
Now, I
definitely he's
hope,
definitely locked for offensive player, but we
dude, I
know
mean, I
MVP is
hope he
quarterback
can get
bias. We
some
know.
love
Oh, we
for,
know.
like, I know, and I'm gonna get into it with staff that, I really hope he just runs away with it. But bro, I mean, we see, Cooper Kupp, Barkley, the tough season they had. I mean, it's hard to consider that we'll see Taylor getting some love, but you really
hmm
want him to. But
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into the regular morning slate, starting off with the Giants and the Bears. Giants start off hot. I mean, the Bears weren't looking too good. Giants ended up carrying a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter, but I mean, in the end, Caleb turned it on, down 10 with 6 minutes left in the fourth. I mean, solid through the air, sure, but it's his run attack that really put the Giants defense out of their misery. Back-to-back touchdowns, two really critical runs, one setting up the 2-yard touchdown to Odunze, and then of course his 17-yard rush to eventually take the lead for good. But we also know for the Giants, I mean, there was a critical point in this game that really tipped the scales. The Jackson Dart injury goes down for a concussion for the fourth time he enters concussion protocol on this season. That's obviously another big cause for concern that we can get into. But yeah, he goes down. Russ comes in, and you kind of know it's wraps by that point. We saw him the fourth down throw that really. I mean, there was never anything going there. The offense just completely went stagnant, and the defense wasn't able to contain the Bears. Just ran out of gas at that point. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was still, big piece of news that we'll also get into a little more in Bean Talk. But Brian Dable, second coach to be fired this season. I mean, like we've been talking about for a while, this was just a matter of time. But I mean, you consider the issues that we saw him just trying to force Dart out onto the field. It's no surprise that that could have been the nail in the coffin after a bunch of stuff. But he wasn't the only issue. We're gonna have to I mean, a lot more to talk about, like I just said.
Yeah, I mean, everything's just going down the drain for that Giants team. I obviously didn't expect a lot from Dart, especially the situation he's getting put into. I'm still, going to root out for them, but it's just going to be a whole real process again for this whole Giants team. But now moving on to my slate. So get prepared for a slate of straight buns. The Bills and the Dolphins. And wow, this was an embarrassing show for the Bills. First time losing to, I believe, a division opponent for more than 10 points in a very good amount of years. I forgot the exact date, but it's definitely been a minute, and I have no idea what happened. Sure, you're looking at the box score: Allen 306 yards, two touch, an interception. All of that was garbage time, just past that stat padding, fantasy points, and all this. But story of this, Devon Achane, he remembered who he was, and he absolutely locked in. And what a horrible day to play against them. I mean, 40 points. My fantasy is gone. My season is over. I can only play spoiler now. Screw you, Devon Achane. 174 yards, two touchdowns. I mean, it's right there. It definitely helped Tua a lot, especially because Tua is not looking that well. Especially the two interceptions are throwing it off, but still two touchdowns, clocking 173 yards, a lot there too. I mean, yeah, the Dolphins season's technically not over yet, but I mean, I still don't expect much from this Dolphins team at all. It's definitely not over yet. They can still maybe sneak it, but it's mathematically it's not over. But at the end of the day, we both know it's definitely not gonna happen. But the Bills. And again, they signed McCole Hardman. You get another receiver because this receiving core is not looking too great. I mean, Shakir 58 yards, Coleman in the 40s, clocked in a touchdown. James Cook held under 100 yards. I mean, can't really be expecting James Cook to be rushing that much, being the focal point of that offense. But I think that's one of the issues there too. Is they need a true receiver. Signing McCole Hardman. I mean, sure, yeah, he's had his time around, bouncing around. Had his time with the Chiefs where he really made a name for himself. But I don't really see him as a really a true threat for this Bills team. And like I said before, Josh Allen, he can only take you so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I don't want to always say that, you need that number one receiver, but you
Yeah,
look at it with
but
the Bills and it's
they need
looking
they
more and
need they
more.
need they need
They
they need a true
absolutely
they
do.
need a
No,
true
I'm
one.
agreeing with
They
you. I'm just
need a
saying this
true
has been
one.
one of
Yeah.
my things that, I mean, you saw the Packers, but sure, that doesn't get them that far in the playoffs. So
Mhm.
at the same point, with the Bills, they got to get something going. They missed their window with the trade deadline, which we did see. They were making calls for Waddle, but they weren't going to want to trade him in division. So we'll see what they
Mhm.
can do if someone can step up. That's going to be the main thing. Someone has to step up in this receiving core. But moving into the Ravens and the Vikings, this was two teams that, they're on the brink. They're teams that, they at least for the Ravens, we thought their season was over, but you see huge win for them. I mean, not a great game in general, either side. I mean, just not great football overall. Pretty ugly game. But the Ravens just did what they had to do. They capitalized on the Vikings' mistakes when the Vikings didn't capitalize on theirs. Plain and simple, the only main thing. I mean, arguably the biggest point for me, you got to look at Nate Wiggins' defense on Jettas. I mean, holding him to just 37 yards easily, that's got to be the story of the game. Didn't let McCarthy find his guy throughout the entire game. And I mean, sure, Jalen Naylor did go for 124 on the touchdown, but the strategy for Baltimore pretty much was Jettas isn't going to beat us. And sure, you let some other guys kind of get some action, but at the end of the day, as long as Jettas wasn't the one getting all the shine, it was fine. And I mean, sure, Lamar didn't look great. Only 176 yards and a touchdown. Henry again didn't look great, but it was just a concerned effort from the entire offense, and of course defensively holding them in check, doing everything they had to do. Now you look at the Ravens. I said it from the start. I mean, you start 1-5. This team was far better than that 1-5 start. Now you rattle off three in a row. You're 4-5 now. You see the division still stumbling out the gate, and you still got that easy schedule in your back pocket. They are very much alive in this AFC North race.
Yeah, and even now looking into this, the Steelers aren't looking, that hot either.
We'll
So
get
I
into
mean,
that too.
this North is starting to, catch up with them. Like, hey, who knows? Maybe the Browns might even make a run. You never
All right.
know. You never know.
Well, let's get into the Browns.
Speaking of the Browns, moving on with this game, what I thought was gonna be a funny generational game turned out to be another battle of hot buns, bro. I mean, let's look at this Jets team, okay? The reason this game was even close was not because of that offense. Definitely not because of that offense. I mean, Justin Fields, 54 yards, one touchdown, one interception. This was a special teams showdown. Let's get into that. I mean, you're looking at this, right? A kickoff TD from Keen Nwangwu. I'm so sorry for butchering that name. And then a punt TD from Isaiah Williams. This is history for this Jets. I mean, that's really what really kept them in this game here too. I mean, This offense total 169 total yards and 42 net passing yards. I mean, you can't make that up. This is the third fewest yards in a Jets win. And again, just a nice defensive game for both teams. Special teams wins. And then this offense is even more chopped now with Garrett Wilson most likely going to miss 3 to 4 weeks with an injury. And Brees Hall being your leading rusher and your leading receiver. So, I mean, yeah, you got away with a pretty ugly win here thanks to your special teams and the defense, which, shout out Will McDonald as well for a 4 sack game, making him the third Jets player with a 4 sack game. But I mean, sure, I mean, this Browns team, I mean, again, Gabriel not looking too well, sacked 6 times. Blame the O-line, blame him, regardless of what it is. This whole offense is not clicking. And we're gonna keep saying this. Just give Shador a shot. The Browns have nothing to lose at all whatsoever. Just give the dude a shot and see what he has, because you never know. And I don't know if I mentioned it at all in this channel before, or maybe just something I mentioned in general, but there's a lot of guys in the league that we don't know is good because they don't get a shot. Shador could be one of those guys. Just let the dude play. The Browns have nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been clamoring for it for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, like you just said, you have nothing to lose. You might as
Just
well
let bro
just give
play.
bro a
Just
shot.
let him. Just let bro play, bro. Yeah.
Just let him get a drive and see what you could do. At least start with a drive. But yeah,
hmm
we'll wait and see. He's definitely gonna get that shot eventually. Let's just hope it's not too late in the season. But let's get into our one disagreement this week: the Patriots and Buccaneers. And this one, I mean, this one was cinema. This game cooked. I cannot lie. I missed most of it again, but of course, a very busy Sunday. Unfortunately, I missed a lot of these games, but I got to see at least the start of this. You see the Buccaneers getting out to the early 7-0 lead. I thought like, oh well, crap, I gave up the disagreement lead, but I mean, Drake May. I mean, not arguably. I know he made that jump in that MVP conversation. I think it's a little inflated, probably getting a little more than he deserves, but still a phenomenal game with those 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. That interception kind of brings it down. That kept Tampa in the game. But he looked great in this game. It just when you boil it all down. The real story in this one was the run game. I mean, Trayvon Henderson finally broke out, finally had that game we've all been waiting for. Of course, he did it when I benched him in fantasy. I've got tired of him. I just it became to the point that I couldn't stand these 5 point games. Well, now he goes for 147, 2 touchdowns, both of which coming more than 50 yards. I mean, you can't make it up. I'm glad to see him finally balling out, sure, but it hurts that you wait until now to do it. Of course, he
Did you
wasn't the
end up
only
winning?
rookie
Did you end
showing
up
up.
winning your matchup too? Did you end up winning your matchup?
I don't even know. That was a battle of hot ass that we both had like
Yeah.
80 points and 70 points. I'll check it a little later. Of course, not the only rookie to show out in this one, Kyle Williams. His only target, but he made it count. A 72-yard bomb coming from Drake May. I mean, great showing from the young guys. This coming the seventh straight win for the Patriots. I mean, honestly, I didn't even know they've been winning seven straight when you look at all back down to it. But it's a huge win when you couple it with the Bills losing this week and this arguably being their hardest opponent as for the rest of the season. I mean, everything's looking up for the Patriots right now. And you look at the on the other side at Tampa, coming off a bye, this was brutal. You expected them to come back replenished, didn't really get the response you wanted. I mean, they were in the game, don't no doubt, but I mean, you expected a little better. Baker sure kept them in the game. Phenomenal for him, 273 yards and those 3 touchdowns. Ibuka coming back, him getting those 115 yards. It was all him getting in the end zone as well. But I mean, it's like I said from the start, the difference in this game was the run game. Tampa couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't get their run game going. In the end, that kind of was the difference. And now they're dropping. They should still win their division. It's an easy division, but in that NFC hierarchy, it's looking a little rough for them.
Yeah, honestly, even too, yeah, I still want to say, the Drake May MVP agenda is not, super close right now. He's still building up a
Oh
case,
no, it's not
but it
close, but
it was just it was
he's
just
the
a it
odds-on
was just
favorite right now. That's what
yeah, he
throws
right
me
now,
off.
yeah, it's like we said, it's the Bucks team that's good. Obviously the injuries for but the Bucks are suffering. That's obviously hitting them. But it's definitely there. Don't get me wrong. Obviously the like you said, the Bucks they're still probably gonna run away with this, but just like not in a good fashion. But moving on too with keeping it in the division with the NFC South, the Saints and the Panthers and Tyler Shook. Making history. Making history. First rookie Saints quarterback to win a game since 1991. Dave Wilson, who beat your Rams 21-13. So, you're like, "Ooh," so a little history for
Run the
them too. But
stats
even
out your ass again.
but even with that, he still had himself a good game. I mean, 282 yards and two touchdowns. Definitely making something there too. And then Kamara helping him with the other side with 83 yards. But the Panthers team, I mean, Bryce Young. I mean, come on. I mean, just the one game that caught up to him where he could play like hot ass and not come away with this one. Rico's not gonna carry you. Rico only 53 yards and a touchdown. Rico's not gonna be able to do anything. Bryce, he started to, like there's inconsistency with Bryce. It's not gonna take the Panthers team anywhere. And I understand, we still want Bryce to have some success, but not like this. Especially with that Saints team, and I guess the only good bright spot about this Panthers team, sure, yeah, Rico, he's been having a season, and then Tet, he's obviously still. I mean, he's their leading receiver, 60 yards. That doesn't say much, but I mean, it's just a quarterback situation. And you're looking on the defensive side, J.C. Horn, who since came into the league with the Panthers, he was expected to be a top corner. He allowed four catches on five targets, 150 yards, two touchdowns, 70 after the catch. So that's obviously not a bright spot. That's obviously not a good sign for that Panthers defense. You let Juwan Johnson, this freaking fossil, get 93 yards and a touchdown on you guys. I mean, that should say a lot. But another bright spot about the Saints team is Olave finally had himself another game, 104 yards and one touchdown. Finally seeing my boy, get some success on that team. Free him, free him. Jerry, make some calls. I'd love
It's a
Olave.
little
We'll
late
give
for
you
that.
no, off season, off season, off season, off season. Let me specify, off
All
season.
right, all right.
Slide a fifth round pick. We'll slide in Kyrie Elam.
Oh,
Kyrie Elam and Kenneth Murray and Kenneth Murray. Who
oh.
who who would say no? Who's gonna say no?
And I'll give you a first round pick to keep both of those guys. I mean, come on. But no, yeah, it's just disappointing, man. I mean, you see the Panthers, they finally get back above 500 after a huge win
Mhm.
against the Packers last week, and you pull out a dud like this.
Yeah.
It's hard to take the Panthers serious. I had them coming
Mhm.
out as a dark horse to win the division. It's not looking likely at all anymore, especially with the Bucks stumbling. This is the perfect opportunity,
Yeah.
and you let it get
And I
away.
mean,
But
they were five. What were they? They were like 5-3 at one point, if I'm not wrong,
no, no,
or
they're
five and
they were
four, or five and
four and
four,
four,
right?
5-4, now 5-5. I
Five
mean,
and
look,
four, five
you're
and four. Yeah,
you're
yeah.
still in a
But yeah, still.
decent spot, but dude, this is
Yeah.
just a huge missed opportunity for Bryce Young, just this offense and this
I mean,
team
there's
in general,
still
man.
there's still like
Look,
two games
they're
behind the
alive.
Bucks.
They're
They are
alive, but the
alive. They're two
point
games
is
behind the
this was
Bucks.
it's just a missed opportunity to stumble like
Yeah.
this against a team like the Saints. But I
Mm.
mean, yeah, we'll see what they can do moving forward. I'm just not loving the inconsistency we're seeing, but let's keep it in the South on the AFC side now. Jaguars, Texans, and again, I mean, exactly what I said, missed opportunities. But I
Mhm.
mean, hey, let's start with more important news. Scorigami. We finally got another scorigami going into this season. 36-29 hasn't happened in the league so far. So hey, there's something you got to take from this. But move on from that. I mean, the Jaguars once led this game 29-10. They did not
Mhm.
score from there on. The Texans end up pulling out 26 unanswered in the fourth. I mean, this was the Davis Mills game. I mean, phenomenal fourth quarter from him. 93-yard game-winning drive that he caps off with a run on his own. Then, of course, you also end up getting that scoop and score to really put
Mhm.
just the icing on the cake. But just a phenomenal showing for Mills, just overall. I mean, he just took control of this game against the Jaguars defense that we know they've been around the top of the league. It's a little surprising to see. I mean, hey, the O line finally gave him a little bit of time to work with, so that also factored into this. But you just mainly look at Mills' performance. I mean, considering how CJ's looked lately, I mean, it's not crazy to say Mills has a case to take the job, just like Jacoby Brissett did out in Arizona. But we'll wait and see how. I mean, if he gets another shot, if he puts another performance like this, there's definitely a case to be made there. But I mean, just real quickly into the Jags. I mean, this is just inexcusable. I mean, to give up 26 straight points against a team like Houston that they've been struggling
Mhm.
you just can't, man. And apart from that 30-yard run that Trevor got late, they mustered up a grand total of 2 yards in the entire fourth quarter. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster from this team. I mean, again, same thing like I said. I know the Colts ended up winning their game, but this was a huge missed opportunity to pick up a divisional win, a game that you had to have to keep up with the Colts in that division race. It was just a bad look overall for the Jags.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a lot of need of improvements there. I mean, I know your Jags was your running away team, but I mean, like I said, it's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he this season he was going to need to have he's gonna have to be on his A game. And the first couple of weeks did look like it, but now the struggles are starting to see. And once again, like I said, I was right about Trevor Lawrence. Like he's like even before the season, I said it's gonna be on Trevor Lawrence, and this is gonna be the season to determine whether it's gonna be a long time for him on the Jaguars. But moving on with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Now the Cardinals, you see what happens when you don't play the Cowboys defense every single week, and even more. This is pissing me off even more. Seeing a team like this that ends up beating us ends up having, pooping the bucket like this, right? Brissett, sure, still has, you look at the stats, but it wasn't enough. It was all Seahawks game there too. DeMarcado, 64. McBride had himself a game. Marvin Harrison touchdown, and this defense, disgusting. I mean, only one pressure on 13 dropbacks, lowest since 2022. Defense was not cooking. This is all Seahawks game. And once again, Darnold. Sure, the numbers are not that impressive. He didn't really have to do much because this was all on the defense. DeMarcus Lawrence, former Cowboy, I still got some love for you, man. Don't get me wrong, but you mean after all the stuff you said about us, you're still a Cowboy, right? But first player in NFL history with multiple defensive fumble returns of 20 plus yards in a single game, both coming in the first half. Like I said, he may be young, he may be old, but he's still making plays like this, and a lot of this came with the defense for the Seahawks. And then again, defense generated 7 pressures, 3 sacks when blitzing. So we see Jacoby Brissett going up against a very, good defense to get the blitz going. You get the pressure, and this is the result you get. I mean, like I said there too, he is still putting up better numbers than what Kyler was doing, and we saw even there too. It's still one game. It was a divisional opponent, but we saw what Brissett was able to do. That Kyler wasn't able to do. It was keeping the Cardinals in this game. Fortunately, they just played a great team like the Seahawks, a great defense, a nice offense, and then what am I doing not mentioning Jason once again? 93 yards, 1 touchdown. That is my goal right there. As much as I want him as OPOY, it's gonna be suck competing against Jonathan Taylor, but Jason is indeed my goal. And speaking of Jason, the card you did give me, a couple weeks ago,
Yeah, of
just
course,
oof,
man.
I still got here, still need to frame it. But shout out Jason. But in general, once again, I'm eating my words again about the Seahawks team of what I thought about them,
Nah,
in the
so am I,
offseason.
man. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still say though, I want to see it against a real team. That's
No,
that's just
yeah,
my
yeah,
own
yeah.
concern. I
Mhm.
know, oh, they killed the Steelers. That's one. Steelers aren't really looking like a real team either. We'll get
Yeah.
into that in a little bit, but I mean, just overall, I mean, I just want to see a little. I want to see them do this against a better team, and what better opportunity? They're heading into SoFi against my Rams this upcoming week, so we'll really get to talk a little bit more about that right here. But let's move it into my game. We finally get our lick back against those goddamn Niners. And look, hey, if it wasn't already known, Matt Stafford has now officially cemented his name into that MVP race. I mean, leads the league with 25 touchdowns, 4 of them coming this week, along with 280 yards. I mean, phenomenal performance for him once again. Third straight, 4 touchdown, no interception performance. Again, I've been saying it all year. He's really limited those turnovers. That's been just it's arguably the biggest focal point to the success he's had. 37-year-olds and
Oof.
bless you,
Thank you.
37 years old and arguably having his best season of his career. It's crazy to see he's turning out a Tom Brady type performance, but I mean everyone was eating with him. Of course, even on the run game, Kyron getting 2 touchdowns. We saw Corum getting his own touches too, but this was a Kyron type of day.
Oh my God.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Puka and Devontae, of course, getting themselves into it. And even the tight ends finding the end zone with Parkinson and Davis Allen. Nice to see him getting that too after his little debacle from last week. But another thing, too, I mean, sure, you score 42 points, that's its own thing. But defensively, I gotta show my flowers too. Nate Landman, peanut punch once again.
No
Uh,
sneezing stuff.
Emmanuel
Thank God.
Forbes, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. back-to-back games with a pick. I mean, everyone's just really feeding in. Now, I know didn't look that great. The fact that you're up 21 nothing, then you let them go 21-14, then it's 28-20. But at the end of the day, you end up holding them down a lot. They end up scoring another garbage time touchdown. And sure, Mac Jones brought his stats up a little bit in garbage time. I'll let him have that. But special teams was arguably a big part in this game too for the Rams. I mean, Josh Carty, I love him, but he ended up losing his spot to Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, finally making his NFL debut. No field goals to really get in there, but 6 for 6 on PATs. So that's already some improvement we're seeing from Carty after he missed a horrible extra point just last week. Also, you get that block point after from Jared Verse. You get a picked off 2 point attempt by late Nate Landman. I mean, these special teams just really shining in this one. Arguably the weakest point of this Rams team. Now you're finally shining in it. It's a recipe for success. Really backing up that number one spot in the power rankings that I gave him this week.
Yeah, and you guys are tied with the Seahawks for another division. Currently Seattle does lead the division, and that's all gonna come down next week, right? That's the first game, and then you guys are gonna meet again 5 weeks later at Seattle. So really, this division is really just gonna come down to the Seahawks and your Rams. Niners, they're still in the play. They're 6-4 in the third, but I mean, realistically, I really just see this being, between the Seahawks and the Rams, and it's really gonna come down. I believe, the winner of Sunday is probably gonna determine it there too, but. We're gonna have to wait and see, and it's definitely
Arguably
gonna be
seeing a
one, two.
preview of that
Yeah,
NFC Championship right now.
yeah, exactly that too. But moving it on with the Lions and Commanders, and once again, it's just the Lions continuing to dominate. Season high for 546 total yards on offense. You can't make this up. Everybody once again just eating. Goff, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns. You got Gibbs once again going, 2 touchdowns on the ground and on the receiving end, surpassing 100, Monty 71. And then JMO finally getting some action too. Finally great to see Amon-Ra, also clocked in a touchdown. Everyone on this offense was eating. The defense was eating. Everything's clocking for this Lions team. They're continuing. It's the same story every week. They're continuing to show how dominant this offense can be. It's just, come playoff time, this is the numbers they're going to be having to put up. On the Commander side, look, once again, Jaden Daniels could have started, could maybe wouldn't have been, a huge factor. Could have been a closer game. Have not been in the game last week there too that caused his injury. But Mariota, sure. He did what he could. Still put up a decent stat line there too. But Krosky Mare on the ground did help him a lot. And then another familiar face, former first round pick for the Titans. Traylon Burks being the leading receiver at 58 yards. That's not something you want to see. Especially as your leading receiver there too. But I didn't expect much of the Commanders this season, mainly because of Jaden Daniels having a slump. But he got injured. I can't really put too much down on him too. But like I said, it's the same story every with this Lions team, and it's this offense, and this offense is what's going to take them far. They just need to keep putting up these numbers every single week to compete.
Yeah, it also doesn't help having the good old president there, trying to steal the shine. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
whole little debacle there, but yeah, I mean the Lions,
hmm
man. I mean, again, it's not a great opponent, but they stomped them down against an inferior opponent, and that's what you have to do to make your statements in this league. But I mean, we'll move it into Sunday Night Football, cap off the Sunday slate, and I mean, look, I mean, you come into SoFi, this feels like a Steeler home game looking at this. I mean, we know the Chargers don't really have fans, and the Steelers arguably have the best traveling fan base, so you kind of expected this one going into it. But I mean, the Chargers sent all those Steeler fan packing. I mean, a decent game for Herbert. I mean, 220 yards, it's a you probably say, oh, phenomenal game for him, but just throughout, I mean, it was kind of just him managing this game. The defense was the real story throughout this one. I mean, three turnovers, holding them to 2 for 11 on third down, 0 for 9 until the garbage time drive that the Steelers ended up getting, forcing Rodgers for that ugly boneheaded safety down the stretch, and just, I mean, like I said, only allowing a garbage time touchdown. I mean, the only touchdown they have allowed in the last 9 quarters. I mean, this defense finally showing back what we saw in those first three divisional wins to start the season. Really, exactly what we need, just that recipe for success. Another recipe for success in a Jim Harbaugh led offense, the run game. And Kaimi Vidal, of course, continues to prove himself after that little hiccup throughout earlier in the season. 95 yards and a touchdown. Great to see him really, tearing up the Steelers defense, who we expected to have a lot more success in this, especially after what we saw last week against the Colts. TJ Watt, kind of a little quiet for him. I mean, he did get those three QB hits, did get in there, had his licks here and there, but wasn't really a game wrecker in this one. Back on the Chargers offensive side of the ball, Lad McConkey, slow to start the season, but these last two games really starting to pick it up, back in the end zone and over 100 yards. And just to, close out one last little thing with the Steelers, I mean, I already said it, his boneheaded play, just arguably just everything in general. I mean, Rodgers just looked bad in this game, period. I mean, sure, he couldn't even crack 170, two interceptions, both of them looking, pretty ugly just in general. Just not what you want to see from them, especially after a statement win last week. Just putting out a dud on Sunday Night Football just isn't what you see. And like we talked about just a little earlier, with the Ravens, sneaking right back into this division race, it's looking like, I mean, I know they didn't start 11-0, but it's looking just like those 2020 Steelers.
Yeah, somehow, some way, they're gonna find a way to still be above 500, keep Mike Tomlin's record alive. Whoop-de-doo, But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just looking very depressing and disappointing for Steelers not being able to compete like this. But closing it out, and I really don't want to talk about this game because of how horrible it was, but there definitely is something very important to talk about, and is this Packers team. But first, Philly. Sure, the tush push, all that stuff, man. It's starting to get annoying. The false starts. We're starting to see it's bright as day. We can keep going along. Everyone can keep complaining about it, but we know the NFL is not going to do anything about this too. The Church touchdown to Devonta Smith that pretty much iced the game. There is really just which offense was going to score first, but it wasn't going to happen. Josh Jacobs finally got in there to keep it low, but I mean, the first missed field goal for the Packers, that kind of was sold them, and then the missed field goal towards the end with the 64 yard, just wide right. But I mean, this was really more, I don't want to talk about it, but there's definitely something to talk about. It is this Packers team. Ring ring, fraudulent is calling this Packers team 5-3-1. We're seeing, and like I said, consistency with Jordan Love is gonna have to be. Josh Jacobs was going early on, it revolved back to Jordan Love, and we saw this. I mean, 176 yards. I mean, that's nasty. This was just defensive play, both ends on both these teams. And then Jalen Phillips, too, who, I mentioned, was I really hoping for that guy. He definitely had himself a game as well. Everyone on that Philly defense was cooking. Same with the Packers. But I mean, it's just nasty. They still don't have a true one. Josh Jacobs not going get Josh Jacobs not getting going early, which is definitely screwing them up. He got going too late. The inconsistency with Jordan Love and the defense not holding out. I mean, just these late game mistakes. And I mean, you're looking at this NFC, you're looking at this North team, right? The Lions, they're pretty much just runaway favorites with this. And I believe I mentioned this either here or in Bean Talk. I don't know, but this Packers team was going to have to step up because they're not getting past Philly, and I saw this right here. I mentioned before obviously could not get past Philly. Now look at this. They're probably not going to get past the Bucks. They're not getting past your guys' Rams. I don't think they're getting past the Seahawks. Definitely there too. It's just a lot of things with this package is not clicking, and you're looking at Micah too. He's not going to be able to do everything, especially with all those double teams. But at the end of the day, it's a fraud watch for this Packers team.
Oh yeah, it's been fraud wash. I mean, arguably, I know it
Mhm.
was a great defense, but since that
Yeah,
Browns game, you kind of start seeing those cracks. But I mean, regardless, when your defense holds the Eagles to 10 points, I mean,
yeah,
you expect a win, and to only muster up 7 points against a defense that arguably, a couple of those guys are finally getting to know their teammates. I mean, it's just horrible for them. But Christian, I think we forgot we forgot one matchup to bring in. I mean, hey, I believe your Cowboys had a matchup this weekend, and I mean,
Oh yeah. I think Dak had like 500 passing yards, five
mhm.
touchdowns, and I think the defense allowed like
I think you guys got
50.
like I think
They
you
allowed
guys scored
50.
like 38 points. Great showing overall.
Yeah,
That defense gives up 40. The Cowboys, of course, once again lose to the bye.
yeah. Unfortunate. I'm very scared for what the potential thing that Geno Smith is gonna
Oh my
do.
God, bro.
Mark your calendars because the battle of butt cheeks is underway in 1 week. Oh no, bro.
That Raiders
No,
offense
no,
against
no.
that Cowboys defense.
Genty's going
Coughing baby versus
generational.
coughing baby.
J Jacoby's going generational. I mean, excuse me, not Jacoby, he's gone. Trey Tucker's going. Just, not
No,
God,
dude,
brain
I'm
fart.
just straight up
Trey
saying,
Tucker,
worst offense against worst defense. We're getting the stoppable force against the movable object.
unstoppable forces. I don't even want to. This is gonna be a talking point for Bean Talk, but I don't want to
Oh,
see. I don't want to.
definitely. Well, then
I
we'll
don't want
probably
to
be
see.
closing out with this. I mean,
This is
Jesus.
gonna be. This is gonna be a battle of pee, bro. I don't like this,
Yeah, but
bro.
let's just
Yeah.
pivot right back into our game picks for the week. And again, one disagreement goes my way. I mean, not even great. Just either of us. I mean, I went 9-5, you went 8-6. Overall records go up to 94-55 and 92-57. So,
Yep.
at least we're healthily above 500. That's the one thing you can look back on. But
Mm.
that pretty much does it for this one. I mean, great slate of games. Of course, just can't. Well, we'll hope. Let's see what your Cowboys do. Let's see what the Cowboys cooked up off a bye week. But Like I said, that does for another week of games. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to tune right back in bright and early on Thursday on Titan Radio for Bean Talk.